Hey guys, Carl Cooper here with On the Black, and I'm joined tonight by Matt Fazelpoor of the Mets blog Kiner's Corner. How you doing, Matt?
Good, Carl. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. So, for those out there that are watching this that may not know who you are or, need to learn a little bit about Kiner's Corner, why don't you give yourself a little introduction, tell a little bit about the blog and the podcast as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Kiner's Corner, I believe there's 6 of us. There's so many great blogs that do the daily stuff. I mean, you have a great site. You do the video stuff via Mets blog, headquarters. I mean, there's great Mets sites out there. We do, it's kind of, as Nick puts it, co-op kind of deal where all of us write our opinions and cover various things. We don't get as much into the daily box score type stuff.
Right.
But we have our opinions and kind of spread things out that way. And then we launched the podcast, The Cult of Mets Personalities, late last year into this year. And it's been great. We're syndicated now on Ivy League Productions Network on Blog Talk Radio. We've had some great guests. You were a guest about a month ago or so. We've had Gary Carter, Rick Peterson, just pretty good guests. So yeah, I mean, it's been fun doing it this year. I mean, as any Met fan can attest to, this has been the absolute longest off season ever. Baseball. I mean, as we film this right now, I mean, things are looking good in this game. Knock on wood.
Yeah, right.
But it's been a long off season, but it did, getting to talk to the Met fans and kind of sharing the anguish a little bit really did kind of amped up by the end of spring training.
Yeah, and I do enjoy listening to your podcast as well, and thanks for having me on the one time that I was on. Now, as a fan, I mean, you guys have had some pretty interesting guests. You mentioned Gary Carter. You guys have had some others. How's that been, your experience as a fan, interviewing some great Mets and some well-known individuals as well, too?
It's been cool. Getting Gary, I mean, that was just unbelievable. It's one of those things. I mean, we did about 25 minutes with him. You blink. I always write notes out before my interviews.
Yeah.
I don't want to be prepared. I don't want to have any curveballs thrown at me. I mean, I had 2 pages of stuff I was prepared to ask, and I mean, we had 4 of us on there. But I mean, you blink and it's over. But I mean, the guy just has so many. That's why those old school baseball guys, they just have so many great stories. That a guy like Rick Peterson, he's been very cool with our podcast, and I've gotten to email with him back and forth. The guy is just an encyclopedia of baseball. I mean, you could just sit there and pick the guy's brain. And again, we did an hour with him, and you blink, and that's the thing. These guys, I don't know, just as a fan and like you are, I mean, you just soak it all in, being able to talk to guys like that who have that much knowledge and have been around the game that much.
Yeah, I mean, I would just love it to, I met Rick Peterson a few weeks ago at a Bloomberg sports event, and I would just love to kind of sit down with him or any of those guys and just kind of have a few beers and talk baseball for a few hours. And I know what you mean. An hour, the podcast goes by pretty quickly. You just blink at that stuff. So yeah.
Absolutely. And the one thing I'll give you for example with Peterson. I mean, and you got to meet him, and you can see how he is. I mean, the guy, he loves talking baseball. That's the thing about a lot of those guys. They just, not only do they know the game, they like talking baseball. But Rick, when I set up the interview with him, he called me. I gave him my number, my email address, and he happened to call me. We basically did an hour when I wasn't even recording anything. He called me up and we called, and then baseball in general. And I mean, I was on the phone with him for 45 minutes.
Nice.
Unfortunately, none of it was on the air, but I mean, just it's just cool being able to talk baseball with those kind of guys.
Yeah, nice. So let's talk a little baseball. Game 4 tonight. We're up big in Philly, kind of surprising, but not even through 4 games, through 3.5 really. Give me some early season impressions. What do you think so far?
More than anything, I don't know if, again, I'm trying to figure this out, and we'll learn this over the next few weeks and months. But I don't know if it's just because this team has heard so much negativity towards them, or if it's because the influence of Terry Collins and the new regime. But this team has a little edge about them, and I like it. In years past, under Willie and Jerry Manuel, I feel like they wanted to play the right way, but they wanted to market the team the right way. They wanted everybody to like them. I don't know. This team has a little. You could see it early. They have a little edge to them. They have a little swagger about them, and it's not like that us against the world thing.
Right.
This team just looks genuinely confident. And even tonight, it was the first thing I was thinking of, and actually Kevin Burkhardt tweeted it as well. So hopefully, I'm not trying to steal his thoughts because this was what I was thinking. But tonight, for example, I love the patience at the plate. I love the new approach because that's the one thing I've really been nervous about they're bringing in this new philosophy, the on base stuff, the Alderson way, but this roster as it's comprised has a lot of guys that strike out a lot. So I've been very interested to see how that will play out. But on top of that, I like the patience at the plate and the aggressiveness on the base paths. And you're seeing Pagan and Reyes really run around. I like the feel just from a baseball standpoint. It has a little, more energy to it, a little more intensity going through.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And the confidence, I think, or sort of not being fazed by something not going their way. Last year, and I've seen a couple examples. The game that K-Rod blew, I think that was game 2, right?
Yes.
Last year, if he blows that game, the Mets lose that game. They just lose that game. They never, yeah. And they came back and they won that. And even tonight, the first inning, they had some runners in scoring position, and they didn't score. Normally last year, after something like that would have happened, the offense would have just completely went away the rest of the night. But that didn't happen tonight. They just battled back. Now, again, this game isn't over tonight, but they just battled back. And those are a couple things that I'm noticing early on this year that are really positives, I think. So
absolutely, no, you're absolutely right. And that's things like that, bouncing back from things like that, 2-out rallies, big innings. Those are things that this team has not been able to do. So I like it. Again, we're 3.5 games through. Who knows?
Yeah,
but I'll tell you what. But it's funny. Just talking to Met fans and, again, doing the podcast, talking to beat writers, bloggers, the whole thing. I don't know if it was just because, again, the offseason was so long, but by the end of it, I feel like a lot of people are on board with this team and that they think that, maybe they're not going to win 100 games, but this team could legitimately challenge for the wild card, and if things break right and you get Johan back, maybe be in the mix for the NL East.
Right. So, home opener is on Friday. Are you going to the home opener or not?
I'm on the fence right now. I'm trying to. I just started a new job, actually, a radio station I work at. So I'm trying to figure out if I'm able to or not. I'm 50-50 right now. Are you going?
I am going. Well, hey, I totally understand the job. That's always a priority first. But I want to get your thoughts on this. There are still a lot of tickets available for that home opener, and to me, that's kind of surprising. I obviously the Mets haven't, been great the last few years. They've had their issues. They got their financial problems. Maybe it was a bit of a disappointing offseason because we didn't, land any big name free agents. But it's still the home opener. It's still a great ballpark to watch the game. What are your thoughts on there still being, something like 6,000 tickets still available?
And that's a good question. It's funny because opening day is always a symbolic thing, and usually even if a team sucks, they're still going to sell out opening day. So you're right that I really think, just this offseason, I think the fans just kind of hit their breaking point.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost feel like, the fans not going out and selling out already, it's just almost a way to tell ownership, all right, we're pissed off and we're hurt almost. But at the same time, that fans are going to bounce back. We're a Brazilian fan base. Let's face it. We just keep we just get knocked down 25 times. You keep getting back up. So, and it could start with tonight. If the Mets take 2 of 3, you want 3,000 tickets will be off the board.
That's exactly what I feel. If they take 2 out of 3, that ticket number is going to be cut in half.
Absolutely. The thing is with baseball fans, any fan base, no matter how great they are, how much they sell it now. If the team is not playing well, they're not selling out every game at a baseball stadium. It's just not happening. The Yankees didn't do it. If you looked at the Phillies in 2006 and before, they weren't selling out the ballpark every night. Mm-hmm. So, again, if the Mets, if this team gets going on the field, and again, not only do I think that this team has a chance to be successful, I think that this feel of this team is one that our fan base can really get behind. Because I think that, like I said, they have a little bit of edge to them, and I think that, they're not the '86 Mets, but I could see fans liking this style of play.
Yeah, that's interesting you bring that up because I was listening to Boomer and Carton the other morning, and I think Boomer brought up that point that, this is a team that fans can like. I don't want to pick on these guys, but Perez is gone, Castillo's gone. He said that maybe the only person on this team that fans still really don't like might be K-Rod, but in terms of guys like Tolle and Ike Davis and David Wright and Jose Reyes and Angel Pagan, these are all likable guys. If Chris Young pitches like he does tonight all season long, he's going to be on that list too. And I think there's something to be said for that of not only rooting for the number or the jersey, if you will, but also the guy wearing the jersey, the name on the back. If they're likable guys, I think that goes a long way towards the fan base kind of showing up and supporting the team.
Absolutely, and it's again, it's kind of gotten away from a little bit what they've done, because these guys are not splashy headline kind of guys, but they're also not scrubs. They're just good, solid baseball players. If you look up and down this roster, I mean, even guys on the bench like Willie Harrison, these guys are they're good baseball players. And again, in baseball, it's such a long grind. You don't know how the chemistry in the clubhouse is going to play out.
Right.
It's on the field, but I like the mix they have going into it, and how it all plays out. Who knows at this point? But I think the ingredients are there for at least a decent season.
Yeah. Hey, one last thing. I want to get your thoughts on this whole Brian Cashman, Pedro Feliciano nonsense. I mean, from my standpoint, Brian Cashman, the Yankees general manager, he needs to stop crying. No one told him to sign Feliciano. That's all on him. He saw the numbers. He had just as much sort of statistics and data to look at as the Mets did, and for him to say what he said about the Mets, I think was a bad move by him. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely, he's been a little edgy this offseason too. He's been had more to say than you can remember in years past. I don't know if it's just just saying whatever. Let's just have fun with it. And Evan Roberts had a great point today, and it's funny because I'm about it. The damage that Joe Torre, I mean, I'll put it more on Torre than Cashman, but the damage under Cashman's watch that were done to some of those relievers was remarkable. So he really should, just worry about his own shop before commenting on other people burning out bullpen arms. Because again, you got guys like Proctor and Quantrill, Tanyan Sturts, Tom Gordon.
Yeah.
You go down the list, guys, Mike Stanton, the guys that they just absolutely blew out over the years. So yeah, Feliciano, he was a workhorse, but you didn't have to sign him. It's not you didn't. They don't sign him then. You always say you want to have this front office and be good with farm systems and analysis and data and stats and this and that.
Yeah.
Then research the guy. You know what kind of workload he had. If you think he was a health risk, you don't have to sign the guy.
Absolutely.
So I think it was ridiculous. It just I don't know, just sour grapes, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, Matt, I want to thank you for joining me, doing a little video chat tonight. I appreciate it. I'll let you get back to watching the Mets game. Hopefully we'll close it out. And for everyone watching, please visit Matt out over at Matt and the rest of the gang over at Kiner's Corner. I'll be sure to link to the website and to the podcast below this video. Thanks, Matt.
All right, Krell. Thanks a lot for having me on.